every single year.
It's got to be 20 years, and it's been every single year. I don't think I've missed one.
It is the longest running professional wave sailing event in the world.
There are no foregone conclusions who's going to win this. It's cutthroat.
It's not an easy event, it's hard, harsh conditions.
It's on the out of control scale.
It looks nuking out there. Makes sail choice easy. You just go the smallest.
Down the line, reel to reel action. Wow, massive airtime. Shooting down the section, looking for Goita. It's right on the buzzer.
Hello and welcome to the Tiree Wave Classic 2024. We are now situated at the Maze, which is on the western side of the island. It has started like you cannot believe. We have been waiting. We've been sitting on 64 knots was the highest gust we recorded this afternoon. It's absolutely ballistic here. There's sand in your face. We've got trucks stuck in rivers. And on top of that, there's a surging storm tide, so it's pretty tricky down here. However, we are now probably just about 4 minutes away from the first start, which is going to be the men's pro. We thought about getting the masters out first of all, but there was no way that was going to happen. The conditions are pretty hectic. So
on the other side, and they're both rigging sails on either side.
That is the voice of Nigel Tracy, the BWA chairman, who is down on the beach. We might have a shot of him down on the beach. I'm not sure. It might be a little bit tricky finding that. We've only got 2 cameras because, of course, it's too windy for the drone, which would have been our pièce de résistance. However, as you can see from the shot, there are 4 riders out. There are 3 or 4 riders out. The first out this afternoon was James Cox, and he was throwing down some 25-foot back rolls. So there we go. Right, let's have a look at what the weather forecast is doing. Maybe we don't know if we can bring the weather forecast in, show you what's going on. We've got some glitch with our live system here, but at the moment we're just about just off high tide. It's a 3.2 meter tide. The wind is blowing from the northwest. It's blowing pretty strongly. It's forecast to drop at some point this afternoon, but right now we've got very high tide and we've got a very strong wind coming from the north. So here we are at the Maze. We are waiting for the men's pro to go out. The first heat that we'll have is going to be between 2 people that I have got no idea who they are really. Julius Byrne and Wolters Wiedniks. So we are just waiting for them. I keep getting updates on the radio, and I'll keep trying to bring you these updates as and when I hear them. We seem to have a graphic issue at the moment. We don't seem to have an image issue at the moment as well, right? We seem to have a whole technical issue going on everywhere at the moment. So let's go there.
It's been given 2 minutes to get upwind, and then we will go.
Again, the voice.
If you could tell us the equipment they're on, because we're not totally sure who they are yet, that would be helpful.
You're getting this raw straight from the race committee radios. So here we go. We've got Julius is heading upwind. We're trying to wait and see what kit they've got. It's all pretty, it's all pretty last minute here. We were all expecting that we wouldn't be live this afternoon or running any heats this afternoon, as there's still competitors arriving on the afternoon ferry. So we're only going to be doing a few heats today, mostly men's pro. We've got Julius Byrne versus Wolters Wiedeniks. That's a 12-minute heat with a 2-minute transition. You can see right there the riders gathering around with that blue hoodie on and with a blue dry robe on, and the hood, that is James Cox, who's just coming off the water. We've also got a BBC crew here. BBC crew here are filming for the One Show, which goes out next Friday. And there you go. You can just see Willie McLean, who is doing something to Rory Somerville. Not sure what he's doing. It always looks a bit worrying when that happens, right? But anyway, he's trying to make his harness a bit tighter because he is too skinny, maybe, potentially. He should eat some more of Fiona's cakes, because Fiona does make some amazing cakes. Shout out to Fiona. Lovely cakes from Fiona. You can see I'm struggling for things to say, so just keep talking about absolute.
Going into the water now. Great, thanks, Nigel. Is that on the pink Goya sail, over? Yeah, it's just in line with the light now. Got him, thank you. So all you can help us with now at some point is somebody who's trying to clear free sail.
Okay, no, okay, he's just doing slow zoom, nice. So.
Okay, no worries, we'll make it work. Just get into sequence as soon as you're ready.
There we go. We're about to go into sequence. We're not far off sequence. Don't forget to record on there. And can we get the countdown clock in? Or we got graphics? We've got a graphics. You lost your input. Have you lost? So we are just on the end of a camera lens there. It's tricky conditions. We're situated up on the bank behind the maze, so we couldn't get any further round. We wanted to be much further round on our positioning, but it is pretty brutal conditions. So we've got other sailors out in the water.
When you're confident you've got both the riders, I'll do a countdown on the sequence.
You can hear it coming through Nigel Tracy. There's a bit of stress first thing when you haven't done this event for a year to kind of get everybody smooth, but we are getting smooth. Here we go. It looks like we're back in. The graphics, as you can see, are now up. And this is the first heat. So we're just standing by for a countdown.
Okay, here we go. Start of the 2024 Tiree Wave Classic in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start.
So we are in sequence. We are in sequence for the first heat. So let's see if we can find those first riders. Right. Here we go. So we're trying to find which riders in white. We have Wolter Wiedeniks, that is Wolter Wiedeniks in the Goya sail there, and the white vest, just tacking back, heading back out. We need to now find, if we can, Julius Byrne, who's got a red bib on. I'm sure he will be there. He is there. He is just gone to your right. I think that's him. It's hard to see. We've got a cliff in between us, and as you can see, all the people standing on the hilltop. It's great, right? There's a lot of people here watching. There's probably 90 odd competitors this year, so it is pretty busy on the beach. We're just.
5,
So now here we are back in sequence. There we go. The first. Oh, great. And here we have actually the legend of the windsurfing world. Duncan Coombs is coming in to join us. He's going to sit right down in this seat and he is going to take control of the commentary.
Yeah, so we're 30 seconds into the heat.
We are.
From Lithuania. So we've got Volters here on the Goya, both coming in on the wave. Conditions are looking good out there, nice top turn there, small little section, probably rack up a couple of points, and in the background a bigger hit there from Julian, but goes down. So conditions firing out there. We had to put a bit of a postponement up because we had 50 knot squalls coming through. It's a bit much for the riders. So now it's eased off a little bit, going into the late afternoon here. Conditions probably like 3 to 4 foot side shore, 30 to 40 knot winds, so it's just what we're after really in Tiree. Happy with this. Put all the masters on hold because it's a bit much for them. Even some of the pro riders were a bit frightened to go out there earlier. But it's settled down, like I said, and now we've got nice competition conditions. So up and riding is Julian here on the Severn. Initiates the bottom turn, yeah. Keeping control and losing it, going out the back there. He'll probably score a few points there, just for the initiation of the bottom turn into the top turn. But I'd say Volters here looking like he'd be leading this heat right now with a nice little hack on the inside section, smaller wave. So on your screen now you've got Julian just heading out. We're asking for 2 jumps and 2 waves, so there's Volters and going down. So we've just seen a completed wave on the inside there, a couple of turns, a couple of nice front side turns. That'll extend his lead there for the Goya rider Volters from Lithuania. He's looking like a pretty strong contender in this first round. I watched him warming up yesterday up at Ballyvullen on port tack, and also very handy on the port tack. So one to watch, I think, in this contest. There goes the door of the of the TV container. Yeah, we got some severe gusts, as you can see from the film here. You know, it looks windy out there, and it is. It's what Tiree's famous for. So there's Julian on his way in. And on your screen as well, you've got both riders up now, coming in, not looking like there's much to ride. Wave selection obviously a big factor here. Panning out, Volters there, just about to drop into one on the inside. Bottom turn into a nice cutty and down.
Yeah, it's not easy out there, you know. And Julian, okay, a little mid-face cut back. Okay, almost completing 2 manoeuvres there. Oh, edging ahead with his scores. They'll be pretty low scores. I imagine the judges probably haven't gone above 3.54 points. The best wave of the heat for the Goya rider with 2 completed top turns. Okay, so we're going to pan in now on Volters on an average size wave. Coming upwind, just edging upwind. And it's a bit of a right-hander, so he's not going to be able to do much with that. Maybe a quick snap into the pocket. No, he's just riding it upwind. We pan out again now. Yeah, just a little turn on the white water. Judges won't score that too much. We're going wide just to find our other rider. There he is. Jules out the back, also picking one up. Yeah, let's see what we can do with this. Pretty choppy on the outside. The bigger waves are sucking up a little bit cleaner. So here he goes. Bottom turns into that. And now the waves died out. And he's died out. So we'll pan out again and see maybe Volters is going to get a jump. There he is. Coming for a ramp. And just a little straight jump crash. Like I said, it might look easier on your screen, but you can barely stand up out there. There's some severe gusts, so it's not easy conditions, they're tricky conditions. Obviously not for the best guys in the world, but this is the first round of the British Tour 2024 Tiree Wave Classic. We've got 3 riders on our screen now. Nice looking wave here. Oh, a good turn. Just out the back there. Yeah, so coming towards the end of the heat there, 1 minute and a half remaining. We haven't really seen too many landed jumps, so probably just going to be Volta edging ahead on the wave scores. What I've seen, I think Julian is a Pozo rider, so obviously starboard tack not really favouring him. I believe he's got a house somewhere out there in Pozo village. Obviously used to the wind strength, but maybe not this direction. The Severn rider. Yeah, Julian for a score. Nice little top turn in the pocket. He's probably going to tag the whitewater again. Yeah, he falls off. But that was his strongest turn in the heat, so it'll be interesting to see what the judges score that. It was probably the best turn on the biggest pocket. And end of the first heat now, so yeah, it could be tight with that last one. Obviously, it's difficult for the Catamaran Foreign 2 sailors. I think we haven't seen any jumps, not any decent jumps landed, so just going on the wave riding, I think from that heat, just talk you through in the transition, would go to Volters, but it's going to be quite close to that last wave from Julian. So heat number 1 completed in the first round of the pros. Going out on the water for the next heat, we have Nick Welsh on the simmer and Hannes Gobisch on the duotone. So start of heat number 2. Yeah, Hannes Gobisch with a nice forward loop there on the duotone. So the results from heat number 1, it was Julius advancing. That last hit obviously pushed him ahead. It was a nice hit into the pocket there. So congratulations to Julius advancing to round 2. And here we have Hannes Gobisch. Oh, and he tacked out of there, no wave for him. So we've got a water photographer in there as well. Maybe that's John Carter, the infamous Carter. So we go wider on that, maybe try and catch our other rider. So Hannes Gobisch there, just jiving onto that wave. Okay, there we are. There's our duotone rider there. If we pull in on him, just bottom turning. Yeah. A little cut back, quite nice style. Just a little 2-foot wave on the inside. He's going for a second turn. Looking in control. Hannes, nice. And going for the third turn. Oh, he's completed 3 turns there. So the level looks like a bit higher from him in this heat. We haven't seen our simmer rider yet. So Hannes Gobisch now with a nice jump on the scoreboard, forward loop and a 3-turn wave. Conditions have definitely eased off a bit now. It's looking way more, that's someone warming up the top there, way more contestable than it was half an hour ago. There's a crashed forward there. Ah, there's our other rider, if we can zoom in on him. Nice little cut back, simmer rider here. Some bigger wave, aerial front side, oh it goes out the back. So as you can see, conditions are well contestable. Nice side shore wind, some 3-4 foot sets. Nick Welsh on the simmer, a decent sized wave, front side turn with a nice off the lip and then into an aerial, but he didn't land it. So
He's got a damaged left shoulder, from the right shoulder.
oh, so I just heard that Nick is, yes, he's injured. He's got a damaged right shoulder, so maybe not on his top game. So we zoom in on that rider there, on the right hand side on the Severn. The wide shot there, he's going out, jibes onto a wave, and he's picked it up, so he'll come upwind on that one a little bit. Here he goes, quite straight leg, a nice top turn, throwing a few buckets there and finishing it off with a little tag, not quite getting up high into the white water, but scores on the board. He's looking pretty solid. Got his 2 waves, he's got his jump, got plenty of time left. We are 4 minutes 28 into this, so yeah, 7 minutes, more than 7 minutes left. Hannes is probably going to feel pretty relaxed now. That's our simmer rider, Mr. Nick Welsh, with the helmet on, just jiving. Light here in Tiree. I don't know where you are in the world today, but it's pretty fresh up here, fairly far north in the hemisphere. Those of you in Hawaii, if you're watching, lucky you. We've all got our scarves, hats, gloves, boots on. So, coming in on a wave. Hannes. Just a small wave Hannes is on. If we zoom in on him, out the back I think we've got a bigger set coming, so a little top turn, he's probably going to get another little tag. Yeah, and then if we zoom out now, it's a little 3-turn combo. You've got Nick on probably a bigger, slightly bigger wave. So Hannes there with 3 turns, and there's Nick with his second wave. Lovely style, he just goes out the back there. Okay, we zoom out. Yeah, so about just under 5 minutes left in the heat. We haven't seen Nick get a jump yet. It's possible that we've missed it on the screen, but obviously the judges won't have missed it. There's Hannes going into a bottom turn there, just following him, and lovely turn. He came right round on that one, but goes down, zooming back out. Where's Nick bottom turning onto a wave? Going really early. Judges won't really reward that if you go too early just on the open face. And a nice little vertical tag that goes down again. So both riders just preparing for their jump perhaps on the way out.
Yeah, pull the whole thing out, yeah.
Eased off the wind now, definitely quite comfortable on their sail sizes. I think they're on 3.7s, so probably like 30-40 knots of wind out there. Earlier, as I said, we had some 50 knot gusts. It was pretty windy, storm chase conditions. Both riders heading out to sea. Can they see the swell that they want to jibe onto? I think there is some definition in the ground swell here. It's not all wind swell for sure. Got an underlying ground swell of about 1.7 meters at 12 seconds. So really blessed with few conditions on the first afternoon here in Tiree. Yeah, so Willie, the event organiser here, Willie Angus, old friend, I've known him since he was a wee lad, a wee Byrne. Doing a great job for everyone, setting all this up. Really quite a professional setup nowadays. Oh look, a forward loop there from Hannes coming in. I'm not sure what the judges will think of that. But behind him there, are we frozen? Okay, we're back. Sorry about that technical glitch there. We're just running this from a container, well actually a trailer up in the sand dunes. Willie Angus managed to get it all set up brilliantly, pretty quickly really. We only had registration at lunchtime and we're already running with live stream out in the middle of nowhere, so good job. Willie, what's your thoughts? You happy with what we've got for the first afternoon?
It's pretty good, Duncan, right? I mean, you know, to rock straight into this level of competition in some seriously challenging conditions is, you know, it's not to be sniffed at on day one. Listening to the chitter chatter on the beach mid-afternoon when it's blowing force 10 nuclear and none of the pros want to go in the water. I mean, that's why everyone comes to Tiree, right? It's to challenge themselves. So it's moderated back a little bit mid-afternoon, and now we're going to get some sick action for the rest of the afternoon. Let's hope this just holds until about dark, you know, and we can get through lots of heats and maybe see what we can get done. We're obviously still waiting for a few of the pros to arrive due to problems getting ferries in, with a combination of weather and things, but hopefully if we can get the Horrocks boys and one or two others across tomorrow, then we'll have a complete pro fleet and complete other fleets with the men's AMs and masters and things as well, and we should be able to crack on at that stage. But no, really pleased that we're able to get out in the water and just get some action and get the live stream up and going as well. So, but it's been a few years since you've been back, Duncan, right?
It has indeed, really, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I spent most of my time on the PWA circuit. And, yeah, we did come here 2007, I think, was the last PWA event here. We got down to a top 16 up at Ballyvullen. There's some pretty sick conditions up there. But we just come to the end of that heat there. We had a nice forward loop from Nick Welsh, so he did get some jumps on the scoreboard, and he also has some hits. So we'll wait for the result from that second heat of the pros first round here. Yeah, Willie, it's been a while since I've been to Tiree. It's good to be back. I mean, I've seen, obviously, the amount of numbers that we had today at lunchtime at registration was pretty impressive. 80 odd people registering for this event, and like Willie said, I think most of them were pretty nervous about sailing today when we had storm force conditions coming through. It's eased off a bit now. It's way more contestable, as you can see. They actually a little bit light on the inside even now, just going out past the rocks there at the Maze Beach on the west side of Tiree. Not much out there on the horizon. Next stop, America. So we'll get the results radio through from heat number 2 between Nick Welsh on the simmer and Hannes Gobisch on the duotone. That was a fairly decent heat, both of them putting some good moves on the scoreboard.
So we've got James Cox just flying out to sea there at the moment, playing in nicely on the way out. He said he was in 3-7 earlier on the green Ezzy yellow bib. Yeah, James was a real contender here last year. Some serious conditions on the final day of the Wave Classic at Ballyfill, and big gnarly cross off down the line conditions last year, and James will be hoping to reprise that and mirror some of his success from last year's event. James has been a perennial kind of contender, occasional winner of a number of events on the BWA Tour. I remember distinctly be down in Cornwall and he took first place up at Gwithian that year. So all the skills are there. Some of the other riders that are out in the water at the moment also just trying to hunt for some waves there. There's definitely some flat spots in it, but when those sets are coming through, there's definitely some size to them there as well, as Duncan says. You know, there is a little bit of groundswell running, but it's definitely quite hard picking out best choice of waves, so to speak. We're actually joined with my son here in the background in the container as well. He's doing the Future Pros training camp this week and involved with the youth and junior competition side of things. Eddie, what do you make of the conditions here today? Would you have a crack at this?
Yeah, absolutely would. It looks quite fun. You know, not too big, not too small, good size, and long peeling waves, not too powerful, so it's quite nice for a younger person. Yeah, and all these guys out here are ripping. It's dropped off a bit as well, so that makes it a bit nicer. Whereas just before, like half an hour ago, it was blowing absolute gale force nuclear. So yeah, it's looking quite nice here to be able to go out.
So what's your excuse then? What are you doing wrapped up in the back of the container here commentating? I think we need to see some of that action on the water. Less chat, more action, right? That's why I get told at home in the house when the action's hot at the beach. So yeah, just looking at what's going on there. We've got the bigger pan on camera at the moment, looking out to sea, and you can see just how windy it is out there at the moment. Very, very windy indeed. Lots of white caps. Guys are fully planing off the fins, on the fins straight away as soon as they're coming off the beach. Judges, 2 jumps, 2 wave rides in these heats, and being pro fleet, it has to be 2 distinctly different jumps for the outbound. Small sails, I think that's Rory Somerville just jibing on the inside there. That looks like it's 3.1. A little bit of a wet forward, not landed clean. Not quite sure if the judges will give that too much reward, given how wet the landing was. But nonetheless, you can see him straight back on the fins, planing for a second attempt, and a little bit drier, almost landed it, but just slightly overcooked as well. So testament to how windy it is out there when a 3-1's getting ripped out your hands. Taking a little bit of time, just caught in the doldrums, kind of inside the breaker line just there. And you can see he's now getting back up and running again, but as soon as he breaks out of that, straight back on the fins. I think we've got Mike Archer ripping off the beach on the S2 sail.
Yeah, that's Rory, isn't it?
a little bit further along there as well. So yeah, looks a little bit flat there at times, but the guys are definitely picking up some good action with some of the wave rides and things. So just a little bit in between action here. Some of the guys way out the back, hunting for more of the set wave action. Some of the guys just leaving the beach and looking for some of the jumping. We can see Mike Archer there just wallowing a little bit. Not sure what kit he's likely to be on. Mike's quite a big fellow, but I still suspect he's going to be in pretty small kit there. Maybe it's 3.8, maybe even 3.4, but probably 3.8 for him. Rory picking up a nice turn, rail to rail on the inside. Nice little backside set up, straight into the front side turn. Just approaching the inside now. Lots of interconnecting turns there for Rory. He's still on it, he's still riding. After a point, when you get into that real drivelly, small showbreaky kind of stuff, judges are less inclined to mark that particularly, but big green unbroken, you're definitely going to get high marks for. So very important for the competitors to remember that, but likewise for us as the audience, it's pretty challenging conditions out there. So Rory playing it safe and just putting a few turns in on the inside so as to try and catch eyes in the judging vehicle. Who's this, Duncan? Who have we got heading out off the beach there in the Severn?
We've got in this heat Mike Archer, so we don't have a Severn rider in this.
No. So we got Mike Archer on the blue and yellow and white S1. Somerville on the slightly older Goya sail, just there heading out to sea on the feed at the moment. So maybe just picking up on some of the sailors in the background. Yeah, the action's good all across the bay at the moment, and you do occasionally get distracted from some of the other action going on. What do you think of our homegrown talent with Rory Somerville, Duncan?
Yeah, Willie, I watched him warming up yesterday down at Ballavoula, and I was really impressed. His wave riding skill is pretty good. I mean, look at that. Really nice time top turn. Straight into another turn. Oh yeah, I mean, good, Willie. Impressed. You know, this is a Scottish local, and he's some talent. I think he could go through a few rounds in this competition if he carries on with rides like that. I mean, from what I've seen on the screen here, that would probably be the highest scoring manoeuvre I've seen so far of the day. So, I mean, I said to the guy yesterday, you know, his style is really nice. He goes pretty vertical, and if he keeps it up and he can land some jumps, he could do pretty well. Definitely get into the top 8 of the pros here. Maybe push some of the top seeds out. So I don't really know where he trains really. Where's his training ground?
So unfortunately for Rory, he's actually spent the last couple of summers working for me up here, so there's no training when you're on my watch. I can tell you he's been working, but coaching windsurfing sometimes does focus you on the fundamentals as well, and it's definitely showing in his sailing. Not quite such a well-known fact, Rory actually went across and attended the juniors at the Col de Wye there a couple of years ago, and he was it 5th or 6th, Eddie? He placed something like that? 6th. I was actually quite taken aback. He did phenomenally well. Certainly, you know, one of the best results from a British youth or whatever in full PWA stuff. Mike Archer there in the background scoring some air on the way out, just stalling a little bit in the landing. There's still plenty to be found. I'd say at the moment, Mike's looks like he's picked up a slightly bigger set wave, more of a groundswell this time round, but at the moment I'd certainly say Rory seems to be leading the charge of the wave riding scores. But that was pretty sick. Yeah, he's putting in some radius into that first turn, interconnecting through, rail to rail, nice style. And he's still going. It's actually set up a little bit upwind, and he's banking it back into the white water there. So nice style. And again, you know, Mike and Rory sail a lot together over the course of the year up here in Tiree, so it's interesting to now see them teeing off in the competitive environment. What would you say, Eddie? Who's your money on in this heat so far?
Well, judging from what I've seen so far, I would say my money is on Rory Somerville. He's got some really nice style on the wave, you know, he's got all those tricks, the aerials, the flying rooster tails and all that. He's an amazing guy to watch on the wave. Mike Archer probably tops him on jumps. We haven't seen much jumping yet from both of them. Obviously you've seen Rory's few forwards that he's done, not some debatable ones, a bit wetter, you know, scrappier landing, but when you see him doing them like full glory in the summer or whatever, he was just really good at them. But I would place my money on Rory at the moment. He's just ripping it up on the wave, you know, so
it definitely makes it a little bit more interesting, the scoring, when it's 2 jumps and 2 waves, because, you know, a lot of the riders are very different. They've got their own specialities. Some are more focused on the wave riding side of things, some are good all-rounders, and some are, you know, more focused on the jumping side of things. And it's interesting, you know, Mike's pretty solid all-rounder actually. He's got the repertoire in jumping, he's landing back loops, forward loops, what have you, but also pretty consistent wave rider as well. Rory's a little bit more focused on the style with his wave riding, and now he's starting to put together the jumping repertoire as well. He's starting to get the forwards down, not seen so much evidence with the back loops. Much bigger set wave for Mike Archer. Nice hit into the section just there, but he drops off the back with it. So again, when you get that loss of the wave and it just rolls through underneath you, the judges will take that into account. So unfortunately, although it was a good move because he dropped off the back, he's not going to score quite as high on it. You can see it's definitely moderating all the time, a little bit lighter on the inside there. Mike's struggling to actually stay planing and needs the wave to find his way back to the beach at the moment. I think I'd definitely take credit. I said the minute it turned high tide, it was high tide right about 3:15 this afternoon. As soon as we hit the high tide, the wind started backing the minute the tide started dropping as well. So that was the kind of call to arms this afternoon, so as to get the guys in the water. You can see Rory floundering a little bit now in the 3-1 as well, so it's definitely moderated a little bit, but we've not got too much time left in the heat, just over a minute 40 still to go. And most of the counting waves and counting jumps will already be in, but you can't rule out last minute flurry if we get a little bit of a squall coming through. Some longer lines there in the backdrop, Duncan. What do you think of that?
Yeah, conditions are pretty decent, aren't they, really? So I think Rory is looking like he's getting the better wave rides here. I haven't seen Mike Archer do much, to be fair. A couple of turns. Obviously we haven't got the live scores coming through, so it's just my judgment that I'm giving you here. But like I said, Rory, not born in Tiree, but this is his training ground, and actually we've got Mike Archer out there as well, who also lives on Tiree, so they're getting plenty of water time up here, that's for sure. I think it was a good summer this summer for, well, nice bailout. What we like to see, a bit out of control. Looks like the wind's gusted up a bit there. He was thinking about pulling the trigger and going forward, and probably then thought twice. Not in control, just let go of that one. Going out wide now. Yeah. Then you'll pick up the other rider. Now you can probably pull it. Because he's outside the break, he probably won't jump, so you can keep it wide until he catches the wave. So Mike Archer there, just waiting for a little wave on the inside. He's coming upwind on it. See what he can do. A little bit of a small one. Yeah, just cuts back into a fat section there. Might reform, but it's a tiny little wave. You can ride that one to the beach, I'd say. And Rory on the outside with a bigger set wave. Nice little cutty mid-face. And go again into the section. She got Bosch. Oh, and he goes down. So, coming towards the end of the heat, and let's have a look at the scores from the judges. Rory will be advancing from that heat. Okay, so just getting going again on the commentary. That was Andy Bubble Chambers with a forward loop there. He's against Julius Byrne on the Severn. So if we just see Bubble now picking up a little wave on the inside. What's he going to do with it? Just stalling for the wave. Here he goes, bottom turn. Nice little cut back there from Bubble. Backhand way back on the boom there for control. Another little cut back. Nice style. He'll probably be looking for a bit of more of a set wave than that, but showing some nice power and hacks. Good flow, nice power. Judges will like that. 4 turns. We've had a few waves today with 4 frontside turns, so conditions, you know, pretty good. Can't grumble. That's Julius there on the Severn. He tacks onto this wave. Will he pick it up? It's going to go underneath him. He's looking over his shoulder to see what's coming. If we pan out, we might see Bubble line up for a jump. Keep him in the screen. Yeah. Here he is, Julius. There's Bubble lining up for a jump there. Back loop, and he just about lands that with a slightly wet finish, but he'll be happy. He's got a 4-turn wave and a back loop to start the heat, so Bubble's looking pretty confident. And here he goes, tacking onto another one. He's busy, always was. Good contester, good competitor, sorry, and bottom turns into this one. Nice radical turn, but can't quite pull it off. That's what the judges want to see. Throwing the fins out the back of the wave scores more points. Way more radical than just the mid-face cut back, but didn't quite land that, so he'll come in and probably line up for another jump. I guess now we'll be looking for a forward rotating jump. Yeah, the results from the last heat, it was Rory, as I said, advancing against Mike Archer. So the two locals there, Rory takes the win and goes through into the second round. Oh, sorry, the third round. That was the second round. So yeah, we're getting through the contest here on the first day. Nice forward loop there from Julius. That'll score nice. Good control. Nice height. We pan out. Probably find Bubble somewhere on the yellow. I guess he's here somewhere. No. Okay, go back to him. We lost Bubble. Maybe on the inside. There you go. Yeah, try and keep them both in. There you go. So Julius just setting up for a bottom turn here on this wave on the inside. Not really laying the sail down on the bottom turns. Judges will be looking at that a little bit. You want to see them really leaning into that bottom turn, especially in these side shore conditions. With side on shore, you can, you know, keep the sail a little bit more upright, but you know, you want to see the pozzer bottom turn style where they really lean in on the rail and dropping the sail into the water, eyeing up the lip and then smashing it. Bubble just jibing, realised there wasn't really any scoring potential there, so just jibing to go back outside where he'll hunt down another wave ride. Brightening up now here in Tiree, lovely sky. As we pan out there, you can see the whole of the beach of the Maze. There's Julius just heading out there with the Severn sail, getting a bit of airtime over the white water, and he goes down. So Willie, I think I overheard that now the conditions have dropped off a bit, the women might be coming on. I think 5:30 start time potential for women. And there's Bubble, nice little top turn, throwing some spray. Yeah, he's looking fluid, isn't he? He's looking pretty decent. He's got that slightly sort of switch style from his freestyle days on his wave riding. Obviously a really good top 8 in the freestyle, I remember, in the PWA I think that was about as high as he got into the top 8. But yeah, I mean, he took some big names down. Andy Bubble Chambers. The level of the British sailors pretty high here. We had a storm come through which held the second ferry from making it to Tiree, and that's the one that Phil Horrocks and Dave Horrocks was on. So, well, nice little tabletop over rotated there. Yeah, as I was saying, the ferry got delayed, so we will not be able to complete this round today. We were just running the heats that we could do, making the most of the conditions. And Phil Horrocks, Dave Horrocks, they'll be up in the next few days when the conditions come back. So 5:30 will be after the men's pros. We'll switch to women. The last few heats of the day. Gets dark about 7 o'clock now up here, so not too much light left, but happy with what we've got today. Good conditions. Boys will be happy. Well, the ones that win. Bubble Chambers. No more ramps for me. Probably jibe onto a set wave in a minute. You can see a few lines there out the back amongst all the chop. So the Severn rider there, the red Severn rider, just coming in on one on the inside. What's he going to do with this then? Again, that bottom turn a little bit upright. Bit stiff. Bottomed out nicely there, and yeah, wow, just a little bit out of control, and then Bubble on the outside waiting for a wave patiently. He's like pinching upwind, just waiting for a wave, and he bears away, just trying to set up for that peak downwind. Just hope he can smash that. There he goes, lays the sail down nicely on the bottom turn, just leans into that carve. And here he goes again on the inside, steeper bit of the section, nice little carve again, nice flow. He's got a great flow, just an extra little bonus half point turn on the fat section at the end. So yeah, I mean, he looks like he's got this one under control. We've got 3.5 minutes left in the heat. And I mean, he was pretty nervous about competing actually. I think they all are, you know, first day and all. But like I said, the winds have subsided from 50 knot gusts where you could barely stand up to really nice contestable conditions. So pretty happy. There he goes. Oh, tabletop. Not confident for the back loop on that ramp. So he's got his 2 jumps in the bag. It was a little bit wet, the landing on that, but he'll score some points, probably like 3 points maybe, this level. Obviously on the PWA World Tour, any sort of wetness on the body landing in the water gets really poorly scored. Want to really see the, you know, the classic Costa landing, fully planing, scoring maximum points for that, fully planing jumps landed. There he goes, Julius, and it looks like he's running out of steam. He'll be happy. I suppose he passed through one round earlier to get to go against Andy Bubble Chambers, so not a bad start for him. Obviously if conditions and time allows, we will go into a double elimination where everyone gets that second chance after they've been knocked out. Andy Bubble Chambers on the inside, is it going to jack up? Nice little cut back, and he goes down. You won't be happy with that.
Definitely up a bit.
Yeah, Willie, what do you think? It's picked up again, hasn't it? It's looking like it's nuking again.
Yeah, it definitely picked up there just this last couple of minutes of this heat. I feel slightly bad. Julius asked me on the way down to the water, what should I be on? And I said, well, you know, James Coxes in 3.7, so he's a big lad, somewhere just south of that. And he said, well, I've got 3 metre or 3.5. And I said, well, 3.5, we want to see radical, right? So he's had a few bottom turns on that wave, but he has been looking a little bit overpowered at the back end of this heat here and just struggling to fully commit the rail on some of the bottom turns. really interesting actually wandering around the car park as the guys were getting set up, looking at the latest generation of production wave kit. The boards this year seem to have much sharper tail rails, much cleaner release for a little bit more speed, and not a problem today when you've got so much power in the sail, but definitely in the lighter winds it's going to give you a bit more of a performance edge at that point. So Andy heading back out, a little bit of power in the sail there. Is he going to find a ramp this time? Say Julius had quite a nice forward right at the beginning of the heat, but Andy's managed to get his backy in. He's had a tabletop, maybe could do with a forward rotation as well, just to polish off the score sheet, but that's a much nicer wave. And he's in nice position just there, unfortunately just trips the rail. Very choppy just at the outset of that wave, a little bit further out and a bit more exposed out there. Julius way out to sea at the moment, just trying to hunt down something that he can work with. And just looking for a setup now. The real trick here is finding those set waves. That's the difference maker. Gives the guys much more of an edge if you've got something good to work with in the first place, and if you can get onto the groundswell and actually get that 3-4 bottom turn sequence in, that's what the judges are really looking to score highly on, plus radical turns. And that's Andy in. Looks like we're done.
We've got Cox against Cox, is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. James Cox against Matt.
So the next one's battle of the Cox on the water.
Heat number 10A.
James Cox, Matt Cox.
James Cox.
And because we're man on man here, it's really as good watching this, because we're just able to concentrate and focus without too much background action going on of what each rider is actually doing.
2 more heats.
So just a couple more heats left to run through. Duncan's telling me here in the background, but making good progress through the early part of the pro ladder and managing to get some heats in the bag. So you must have an eye on doing a few of these in the future, Eddie, working through the amateurs and maybe having a go at the pros as well. How do you think you'd stack up against the fleet this year?
Well, it's the whole goal is to end up in the pros later on, maybe late teenage years. Looking at all the pros today, I mean, they're all shredding for the conditions. It looks like it's pretty tricky, but I mean, to be able to compete against them today, I would have no chance at all. But hopefully in future, maybe even in a few years, I'd be able to go and compete in the pro fleet or the amateur fleet and, do quite well, get through the rounds and whatnot.
Who's your favourite rider out there today so far?
I definitely think my favourite rider so far today has been Rory Somerville. I mean, he's a great friend of mine. We've always got along great. We always try and sail together when we can, when he's up in the summer. October, Easter, all the different holidays. So yeah, I'm definitely rooting for Rory to do well, get high up in the ranks. So Rory's definitely my favourite. Bit of a local to me as well, good friend. So yeah, I mean, conditions are looking great. So we'll just see what turns out of this heat.
Battle of the Coxes.
Yeah, Battle of the Coxes.
Yeah, thanks, young Eddie. They're not brothers, the Coxes here, just a coincidence that 2 Coxes against each other. So on a wave, Matt Cox on the first one coming in there on the wide shot. Keeping it wide there, just see what Matt can do. There he goes, bottom turns into a nice section. Good 3-foot wave there. Bit late, but nice section. James's wave hasn't really lined up. James Cox behind, look. Little snap and loses the fins, just sliding there a bit. Going into the second turn. Well, that'll be hard to score really. I mean, 2 complete turns there for James Cox. I think he kind of lost control a little bit as he came out of that first turn and then completed the wave with the second turn. But Matt Cox hit the section. I think, from my perspective, I think James's wave will score higher, even though Matt Cox's wave was bigger. Didn't really have the same flow as James Cox. Let's see, zoom out a little bit now. Might see James go for a jump. Here he is. Not too many ramps lined up for him. Little one, maybe go for a forward off that. I don't know. A little bit of chop. No. Tax. Lovely evening light here in Tiree. Yeah, sorry about that. I think the sounds went down a bit there. Yeah, we're back on James Cox against Matt Cox. Second heat of the second round. We've left the bottom of the round because Phil and Dave Horrocks missed their ferry didn't run. Oh, a lovely hit there from Matt Cox. That'll put some points on the board. Really snapped that into the section. Going for a little back-up turn there, Matt Cox. That's a pretty decent wave. I like that turn. Quite aggressive into the pocket of a good 3-foot section. And let's see what James Cox does on the way in now. So Matt Cox definitely getting the better wave selection. James Cox just coming in, maybe setting up for a jump. And there goes Matt Cox on the way out. Looks quite difficult for jumping. Looks a little bit light on the inside. So no jump there for Matt. We'll go wide again on James. Okay, James Cox heading out. Yeah, not too many ramps there. Again, Matt Cox picking up a nice wave. He's like got his wave magnet on. There he goes. Edging upwind. Bottom turns into a nice section again. Look at this. Jack's right up. Nice hit and didn't quite pull it off. You see James lining up. Oh yeah, there we go. Some nice waves coming in now. Has he gone a bit? He's a bit too far ahead of it, I think. Judges aren't going to really like that, no. Well, picked it up late. Could have probably hit that first section if he was a bit further out, but making the most of that. On the inside it bowls up and closes out on him. So, I mean, from what I've seen here on the screen, I would say Matt Cox has probably got better wave scores than James, which is surprising. So, playing catch up, James Cox. Here goes Matt on the way out. Can he get a ramp? Looking powered up. What's he going to do?
So yeah, just watching this heat just here, we're slightly alien territory. We do occasionally sail the maze in kind of northerly, north-northwesterly like this, starboard tack, jumping and wave riding and so on.
He's lining up for jump now, Cox.
And but when the wind's there, you can get a good sprint of speed off the beach for jumping, and we can see now James Cox lining up to try and get his jump score up here as well. So taking the white water, here we go. just didn't quite set up for him on the inside there, so just a little bit fickle at times. So yeah, it can just be a little bit tricky there at times, because if you look in the background there, big promontory, big headlands, relatively, high ground there in the background, breaking up the wind a little bit, and it can make it a little bit gusty for consistent planing from the inside and trying to hunt down the ramps. Here goes Matt Cox. Little donkey kick, but crashed it on the landing. That's unfortunate. That's not going to be high scoring even if landed, and even then, because he went down, no score unfortunately. Now James Cox, now looking like he's picking up on a little bit more of a lump there in the background. Might be on the peak as well. A little bit better position than his last wave. It just starts to slope up a bit from now. You don't want to start riding too early either. You can be out the flats in no time before you know it. Nice rail-to-rail style that James has got. Hand right down the boom for the gusty winds here. He's a big powerful guy, James, but even then you can tell it's gusting hard when a big guy like that's reaching right down to the back of the boom. Yeah, that was a much better wave compared to his last one. Matt with a little bit of speed, if he can maintain it on the way out. Just hunting for a ramp now, try and get the jump score up. No jump there. Let's see what James is doing. They really are quite evenly matched in this one, which, as Duncan says, is a little bit surprising. You've got to think that James is a past kind of Cornwall winner, always kind of perennial contender around about the podium area, would probably have the edge, but Matt's sailing out for his skin here this afternoon. Definitely wants it for sure. Nice to see the sun out as well. Not often you see that in the Hebrides, Duncan. Nice little bit of sunshine there. The guys have come back in with a tan and everything.
Scottish wind tan.
Tan's typically enhanced at this time of year by copious intake of whiskey late in the evening. Definitely helps just to flush the face a little bit. Knocks off the cold from the day in the water as well. Tiree Wave Classic in its archive days did a lot of whiskey tasting sessions, and since the sport of windsurfing has become a little bit more professional, regrettably the whiskey tasting seems to have fallen off the radar in more recent years. Maybe something we need to reinitiate this year. Coxes with a really nice radical turn, radical style going back into there. He was just a little bit early in his top turn, and the timing wasn't just quite right on that last one, falling off the back. First turn was good, but regrettably second turn not quite so good. Coming to the inside, pretty close to the rocks there, just jumping off. So in reality we're drawn towards the close of business for the day. We're just starting to see some announcements coming through from the judges. They're aiming just to finish at the point that they get through the heats that they can in the men's pro here. They're not going to put the ladies or masters out today. So we've got one more heat to go after these guys. And right about a minute 50 left in this one. So there's still an opportunity for a bit of scoring to go on.
You've got the British champion coming up next, Lucas. Yeah, so interesting to see how the scores are panning out in this. Obviously, without the live scores coming through, we're not really sure who's leading this heat. I mean, on my score sheet here, I just like to take notes. I've got a really big hit there from Matt Cox, and James Cox having some waves with more flow, like 3-4 turns linked together. So I would score James slightly higher, but for actually the best wave score could go to Matt Cox, but with the backup wave, with 2 waves to count, I think James has probably got it on the waves. Anyway, next heat we have got the British champion, Lucas Meldrum. Who's he against? Against Hannes Gobisch from Kiel in Germany, so a bit of an international field here. Young Hannes, son of Lars, I believe. There's a nice back loop from Coxey. That's what we want to see. That's clinched the heat from him. Beautiful. Probably that'll go into the excellent range, I would have thought. Not like mega high, but I would have thought that would score on the British levels. Yeah, nice landing, planing landing. So it's going to be a 7.2 scoring back loop. Obviously not really going sky high, going into the 8s or 9s, but that's a pretty solid jump score from James Cox. And he's coming straight in on a wave. We'll go, we'll go pan back out to Matt Cox. He's looking for a peak, looking for a section. Here he goes. There it is. Right, he kind of mistimed that, but not easy out there with all the chop. Nice bit of release from the tail. And that is the end of the heat, so that is all you're going to see from the Coxes. Next up, as I said, is the British champion against the young German Gobisch from Kiel, whose father is a ripper. I've judged him in silt, so he's got high standards to follow, a father like that. Lars Gobisch and young Hannes Gobisch. To see what he can do. He's already advanced through one heat today. Now he's got to scalp the British champion if he can. I say Lucas should be favourable on this tack, really, starboard tack. He comes from the south coast, so let's see what he can do. Yeah, so just under 10 seconds now to the start of this heat, the last pro men's heat of the day. We've got the British current last year's champion Lucas Meldrum against Hannes Gobisch. There they are, both heading out, looking for a jump on their first run out, panning out wide. Lovely little ramp there and a push loop there from Meldrum. You'll be happy with that. Nice solid start to the heat. There's Coxie coming in front of us. Meldrum there, just coming on a wave. I think he's going to go for another jump first. Good tactical sailing. Get your jumps in the bag straight away. Seasoned professional. I know he's sponsored by one of our best ever windsurfers from this country, Nick Baker, who winning the Lower Classic back in the day. Still ripping. So Nick will be pleased to be sponsoring this lad, British champion. There he is, Hannes on a wave. We just missed that on that corner. Oh, a nice hit from Hannes. It goes down. We did miss the bottom turn, but the top turn wasn't completed. So pretty much no scores on the board for Hannes. And Meldrum on the outside be hunting a wave now. There he is, jibes onto that wave. You generally like go out to sea and try and pick up a swell, and then kind of edge your way, pinch your way upwind as you come in on the swell. He's flying. Here he is on a little wave. As you can see, there have been some nice set waves from the last few heats, so a wave like this is not really going to score maximum points, depending on what he does with it. Oh, a lovely top turn there. Really cracked that one. And fins out, blows the fins out. This is great style, slightly smaller wave, but what he's done on it is really what the judges are looking for. There he goes. I don't know if he's going to line up for another jump. Probably come right on the inside. There's Hannes on another wave. He's got his work cut out, Hannes, now. Not much of a wave there, so he probably jibe off. Oh, just a little cut back. Go wide now. So the end of the wave for Hannes and Lucas. Just couldn't really find a ramp. Is there one there? Yeah. Forward. Excellent. Oh, he's wet. He's out of the straps. Just water starting out of that. They'll Judges will take a lot of points off that. Willie, we want to see landed jumps really at this level, especially from the champion.
Yeah, that's right, Duncan. I mean, you can't be too generous in terms of points awarded for something when it's pretty wet like that was. You know, it's good a, you know, really high forward rotation, but unfortunate with the landing for Lucas there. So much lower, faster spin loop just there from Hannes. So cleanly executed, cleanly landed. So that will score, and probably score more than Lucas, but Lucas with a very nice wave there. Great bottom turn, top turn combo, and he's still riding. Cranks into the white water, fins loose, brings it back in under control again. Yeah, getting to the stage now where you see these guys coming along, you know, someone like Lucas, for example, really built his technique over the last 5 or 6 years or so, and now very, very competitive at the top level in the UK. Obviously culminating in a win in Tiree last year. Now, bit of speed from Lucas on the way out while Hannes is riding. Big forwards and much, much cleaner landing. That will be about as high points as you're going to get for a nice clean forward there today. Excellent, really good execution and completion. Definitely a little bit more aggressive in the jumping with these two guys in this heat. We're liking what we're seeing here. Hannes just floundering a little bit on the inside, struggling to get back up and going, but he's got a little gust to get him onto the board. Still going, same gust, and he's straight onto the fins, so he's got a bit of speed from the inside. He's lucky, he's trailing the hand here as he's trying to catch the judge's attention. Maybe he's seen something out the back. Another spin loop, definitely a bit wetter that time, and again the repetition of the same jump will not be deemed favourable by the judges as well, particularly when it's not an improvement on the first time round. So previous heat result, James Cox in first place in the last heat, Matt Cox in second. Now sick bottom turn, top turn combo from Lucas there. Nicer wave as well, really teeing up nicely. Another sick hit, second hit. Yeah, that could be the wave of the heat. Two sick turns.
I mean, I don't know how critical the judges are going to be. He kind of bogged his second bottom turn, just caught his knee maybe in the water. So I mean, that is something that we look at on the top level. Bit super critical. I mean, he's got two good waves already. The first wave he had a couple of hits, fins out on the first turn. You know, probably scoring 5-5-5, just smaller wave, but like really putting some radical turns in. And then the second wave he had a really big hit on a bigger wave. So also got his push loop and his landed big forward loop. Meldrum is looking good on form. Yeah, so Meldrum lining up for another jump, not quite jacking up there on the outside. Hannes Gobisch. There's a couple of waves lining up here on the outside. Last men's heat of the day. Lovely backlit waves. Great conditions here now on Tiree. Oh, here goes Hannes there, panning out and draws out his bottom turn and crashes. Well, we're just picking up Lucas there, upwind on a peak. It's just stalling, dropping in late. Nice. Oh, he mistimed that, so no big thing for him. He's already got his scores on the board. I mean, on my scoreboard he looks like he's got probably 13 points for his combined jumps and up in the double figures for his combined waves. So this is definitely the highest scoring heat of the day for Meldrum. I thought maybe Coxie might be pushing higher scores than he did get, but perhaps the conditions have become a little bit easier. They did say the forecast was for the wind to ease off a bit to 30 knots. And there goes Hannes there in front of the rocks there, just going down on his second turn. So you must be happy, Willie, with the conditions we've had for the first day.
Hey Duncan, it's been sick, right? I mean, you know, to be able to come to Tiree for most of these guys is a fantastic trip in its own right. To get straight in the water and straight into the action is always, you know, good. If it's registration day, you maybe get a long lie or whatever, but the guys are going to reflect on this tonight, get home and think, yeah, that was good, you know, blow off the cobwebs from the trip up and get straight in the water and get some heats under the belt, and it'll leave them relaxed. Let's hope that the Horrocks brothers don't feel a little bit left out in this process when the other guys have had a few days, or maybe at least a day in the water ahead of them, and they're coming in cold, having had a long trip, and maybe starting from, you know, we're looking at a bit of wind tomorrow afternoon again, so maybe they get effectively straight in on their day one as well. But we're just waiting to see if this ferry docks tonight with the remaining stragglers of our competition fleet. So we're into back half.
Yeah, Lucas just going upwind there, setting up for another ramp to jump off. Didn't like the look of that, so coming back in. Probably knows he's got a couple of good waves under his belt, so I don't know what he's looking for. Maybe he's going trying to do a back loop. Obviously back loops on the scale score higher than the push loop, so perhaps that's what he's looking for. I think he's sort of treating this now as probably a bit of a training heat. That's just a free sailor upwind there. There he is on the inside. I think Hannes went down in front of the rocks a while ago, so he's probably tacking upwind somewhere out the back. And here goes Lucas, see if he can line up for a jump here. No back loop ramp is there. Yes, there is, and he's gone for another push loop. Very Baker-esque sort of style, I think. He's obviously Nick's had a few words training with him, but that was a lovely push loop there. Slightly higher than the other one.
Quite clean landing as well.
Yeah, lovely clean landing. He's really in the flow, isn't he? And I don't know, you know, the other lads watching him will be probably thinking they've got to run for their money to beat this guy. Obviously, like Willie said, Horrocks, the two Horrockses aren't here today. Look at this. Oh, just bogs it there. Yeah, unlucky. Yeah, yeah. The Horrocks brothers unable to make because the ferry was delayed. So that's why we're stopping in heat 2 of the second round, just before we get to their heats. It's out of their control, really. Their ferry not running, so obviously be majorly unfair to run their heats without them. And seeing as Phil is a contender for the title, we're just going to finish today with a women's heat, and very happy with the conditions we've got for the first day. Here he goes, Meldrum, going for a little stalled forward. Yeah, loving it, loving it. He's looking good. Some nice action for you to watch at home wherever you are. Here Tiree, the 40th anniversary year of the competition, 2024. The boys all doing a great job. Yeah, just to confirm, it will be the last heat of the men, and we'll just have one more women's heat. So I think I'll just check that we're not going into any masters. I think it's a bit late in the day for that, but we'll double check that. As far as I can see, don't want to go. Women don't want to go. Ah, well, seems like this will be the last heat of the day then. Sorry, but we won't be able to show you the women's heat. I think the conditions are, well, we're sitting inside the booth. It seems quite nice, but maybe it's a little bit stronger than you think out there. There's Hannes. Haven't seen him. He's probably been tacking upwind. Just coming to the end of the heat, counting down, and that is the end of the competition for the day. So yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed watching it. First time I've done any commentary, so I'll probably be getting a bit better at it. I don't know. Maybe lose my voice. I have to have a few whiskies tonight, Willie. Thanks for all your setup, Willie. It's been a great start to the Tiree Wave Classic, and we'll see you all when we're back on the water.
It's been great having Duncan back after a few years' absence or whatever. You know, Duncan is, at the end of the day, a legend of Tiree, previous multiple event winner, and great to get his feedback and commentary as, you know, kind of head guy with the PWA. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Brilliant to be able to bring you the live stream again from the competition heats, and we hope that you're looking forward to tuning in the next day. Okay,